I've come to you to try to tell you the story that my mother told me when I was a little girl. I'm going to tell you the story of Brother Rabbit, Brother Fox, and the top of it. Brother Fox and Brother Rabbit once lived in the woods, and they couldn't get any water to drink. So Brother Fox says, Brother Rabbit, let's dig us a well so we can get some nice, fresh, cool water to drink. And Brother Rabbit says, I don't have to dig a well. I can get all the water I want to drink off the grass when the dew falls. So Brother Rabbit skipped away home, and Brother Fox dug his well, and he had him nice, fresh, cool water to drink. The next morning, Brother Rabbit skips down to the well, and he fills his pails up with water. And then he gets down and muddies the water all up. And when Brother Fox comes, he finds his water all muddied up. And he didn't know who it was muddying his water up, because Brother Rabbit skipped away home. So the next day, Brother Rabbit came, and he got his pails full of water again. And then he muddied the water up again. And Brother Fox came, and he found his water all muddied up. This time, Brother Fox said, I know what I'll do. I'll put me a tar baby up on this shelf. I'll catch the one who muddied my water up. And then he went home. Brother Rabbit came the next day, and he saw the tar baby sitting up on the shelf, and he came up, and he said, Good morning. The tar baby wouldn't say anything. He said, Good morning, I said. I got a big hand here. I'll slap you. And he slapped the tar baby, and it stuck. He said, Turn me loose. Oh, turn me loose, please. I got another big hand here. I'll slap you. And he slapped him with this hand, and it stuck. He said, Turn me loose. Turn me loose, I said. I got another big head here. I'll butt you. And he butt him, and it stuck. He said, Turn me loose. Turn me loose, I said. I got a big feet here. I'll kick you. And he kicked him, and it stuck. He said, Turn me loose. I got another big feet here. I'll kick you. And it stuck. There Brother Rabbit was, all stuck to the tar baby. And then Brother Fox came and saw Brother Rabbit all stuck to the tar baby, and he said, Well, 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 I thought that was you, Brother Rabbit. You shall die for this. I shall hang you. And Brother Rabbit says, Please, Brother Fox, don't hang me. Please let me go round that pond and pray. And Brother Fox says, No, Brother Rabbit, you're a sly little fella. You won't come back. He said, I'll come back, Brother Fox. Please let me go round that pond and pray. And Brother Fox says, All right, Brother Rabbit, I'll let you go round that pond and pray. And Brother Rabbit went round the pond, and there he saw Brother Crayon. He said, Brother Crayon, Brother Fox is going to hang me. And every time he go to pull that rope, will you get up in that bushy tree and say, If you kill Brother Rabbit, it'll be judgment. Brother Crayon says, All right, Brother Rabbit, I'll do that for you. And Brother Rabbit skipped away where Brother Fox was, and Brother Fox tied Brother Rabbit up. And every time he go to throw the rope over the limb, Brother Crayon was way up in the top of the tree, and he says, If you kill Brother Rabbit, it'll be judgment. Brother Fox says, Shh. And he couldn't see anything. So he went to throw the rope over the limb again, and when he go to throw the rope over, Brother Crayon would say, If you hang Brother Rabbit, it'll be judgment. And Brother Fox ran home just as fast as he could, left Brother Rabbit all tied up. So Brother Crayon flew down out the tree, and he picked all the ropes loose from Brother Rabbit. And then Brother Rabbit says, all right, Brother Crayon, you come on, and I'll take you down to that pond and give you all the frogs you want to eat. So Brother Rabbit had a little banjo, and he went skipping away down the pond, and when he got down there, he went to picking its banjo. Pick-a-dum, 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 dum-dum, 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 dum, thank God all the crayons dead. And all the frogs came jumping out the pond saying, thank God I heard the word. Pick-a-dum, 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 dum-dum, 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 dum, thank God all the crayons dead. Thank God I heard the word. And the crayon came behind, just eating all the frogs he wanted until he was filled. And that's the last of my story.
I was out turkey hunting one day, and I found 5 turkey gobblers sitting on a limb. I was puzzled for a few seconds just how I managed to kill all 5 of those turkeys at one shot with that rifle. I decided the only way would be to aim at the limb, let the bullet split the limb, and hang the turkeys by the toes. So I did that. I aimed at the limb and fired. Sure enough, the bullet split the limb and hung the turkeys by the toes. They were flopping and trying to get loose. I dashed up there and reached down for a stick to kill them with, and in a rush I picked up a rabbit, threw him down, and killed 12 quail. After I got my turkeys killed, I started tracing the bullet, where he went through bushes and cut off twigs. It wasn't long before I come to where he went through a deer and killed him. I kept tracing. After a while, I come to where he went through a bear and killed him. By that time, I was getting tired and hungry, but I decided we'd go a few steps further and see what else the bullet had done. And he went through a tree. It was a bee tree. Honey was flowing out on one side of the bullet hole and flapjacks on the other. I stopped there and got dinner, and on my way home, I met up with that same bullet with a drop of sweat on it, hunting another bear.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rainbow Spring. Rainbow Spring is one of Florida's most beautiful and scenic attractions. Rainbow Spring is the beauty that's created beneath these waters, only made by the hands of God. Through the porthole of this sub-type boat. Now, picture after picture of underwater mystery unfold before your eyes, and wonders they flash across your mind. Now, Rainbow Spring is a dreamland. Rainbow Spring is a wonderland. Rainbow Spring is just a lost world underwater. It's known to be a giant, and it upsurges from the depths of the earth. The spring that flows 659 million gallons of clear crystal water every 24 hours, which is enough water coming up right there at Rainbow Spring to take care of most any large city, such as Los Angeles, California. Enough water is coming up there to take care of Detroit, Michigan. Enough to take care of Chicago, Illinois. Enough to take care of Miami, Florida, but nothing like enough water coming up there for a place like New York City. All right now, folks, a lot of people want to know why they call it Rainbow Spring. But you can look straight down in the bottom of the river. Every blade of the grass never rock, all tamed with tiny rainbows. And that's why they call it rainbow. Then you can look through your left side porthole. Just as far as your eyes can see, it looked like mountains, looked like valleys. She looked like green pastures, and the fish looked like birds winging in the air. When you look up to the top surface of the water, it looked like the skies above. The growing of the vegetation looked like the growing of the trees. Sandbar looked like a hillside after a snowstorm. And Rainbow Spring looks entire like a world of its own. Then when you look through your right side porthole, on the right, there you find that big bass John L. Lewis, lying under the log over there. Now, folks, he's a bass. Come and see him. And then when you look through your right side portholes again, there they want to know why we call it snowbank. Well, Rainbow Spring had the only snow that Florida can offer you, where the water upsurge from the depths of the earth coming out from under the phosphate rock, blow the sand up on the banks and make it look like a hillside after a snowstorm. And that's why we call it the tropical snowbank. Then you can look through your front porthole, and there you'll find that ghostly blue shad, that saltwater fish with a large forked V-shaped tail, the fish that flashed by your boat so fast it looked like a dark cloud fleeing before a storm. Then when you look through your front porthole, there you'll find that leopard gar, which is that prehistoric fish, the only fish living that's got gills and got long, the fish that lived in the age of the dinosaur, over 50 million years ago. Not another fish in the world related to him. And then when you look through your right side porthole, you come to where the fish are taught to come up to meet your boat. They stand before the porthole. They gaze us in. They know how to drill just like soldiers. They pose for camera shot just like men. You can watch the brim, watch the shiner, watch the big mouth calico bears when they step before your porthole. And they look just like a big league baseball player standing out there, comes out like Jack Dempsey, takes a stand like Gene Tooney. He can tap like Joe Lewis, but he fight like Rocky Marciano. And then he comes stepping out there again like a big league baseball player. He comes out like Hank Greenberg, takes a stand like Don Newcomb. He swing like Mickey Mantle. He can steal us and Jackie Robinson. All right now, folks, here's some of the fish we're going to give you that we got by name in the Rainbow River. Tell your friend, we got a big mouth black bear, got calico bear, got small mouth bear, got bluegill, we got a shellcock, got a sandsuck, got china, got a leopard gar, got a mudfish, got a jackfish, pipefish, still fat, got sun perch, got a red tail perch, got a warm-up perch, we got a speckle perch, got a blue shad, got silver shad, got German carp, got a copperhead brim, got a mud cat, John cat, speckle cat, red breast, red eye, the black gar, got an alligator gar, got a root, got golden carp, got German carp, then that big bass, John L. Lewis. Now, John L. Lewis, a fish money can't buy. Men can't land him and women don't try. All right, now, folks, anytime you step in that boat, we don't want you to think that's it all. We want you to take a short walk. Go down and see the waterfall. When you come to that waterfall, find the water leaping from so high. It looks just like she's rolling and jumping right from the sky. That will be your next number when you step off of that boat, 150 steps to your right. Highest waterfall in the state of Florida, located at Rainbow. Now, folks, don't mess it. Now, folks, when you meet your friend, they're going to ask you who wrote this poem. You can tell them you don't know the writer. You just know who is putting it on. Now, when you return back to your home, one day you might think about me. Be right here wishing you good luck, whatever you happen to be. We love our friend at Rainbow, because they love the thing we do. So good luck. God bless you. Whatsoever in the world you go. Some of you have sailed the ocean. Some of you done sailed the sea. I told you this old story, just like you found it to be. Now, when you step in that boat, one thing I'm going to ask you to do. If you ever start to tell it to your friend, tell it just like I told it to you. Your first number wasn't so bad. Your last number wasn't so sad. I'm fixing to part by saying goodbye, but I want you to call again. We want you to go and tell others. We want you to tell your friend, just drive on US 41. That's 4 miles north of Dunella, and there you can miss Rainbow Spring.
I'm going to tell you a really, truly, honest to goodness, cross my heart and hope to die, ghost story. It's a very famous ghost story. The name of the story is The Bell Witch. Now, more than 100 years ago, in Robertson County, Tennessee, the Bells were, and the family still is today, one of the most prominent families there. John Bell Sr. had settled and prospered there. They were energetic farmers, devout Baptists, and highly respected. About the year 1818, it was reported that something quite mysterious was taking place in the Bell home. For a year or so previous to that, the Bells had heard mysterious rappings, but they were usually heard by the older members of the family after the young ones had gone to bed. So, thinking that the noises were made by mischievous people, the older members of the family kept quiet about it. Then finally the children began to hear the noises and be disturbed by the malign spirit. But they were rather ashamed of it, so they all pledged each other to secrecy, and they kept it for a long time a family secret. In May 1818, the Bell Witch first came into the house. John and Lucy, the father and mother, slept downstairs. Betsy, the daughter, slept in a room directly over them, and the boys slept in another room upstairs. One Sunday night, just after the family had gone to bed, a noise commenced in the boys' room that sounded exactly like a big rat gnawing on a bedpost. Well, when the boys got up to kill the rat, the noise ceased. But the moment they got back in bed, the noise commenced again, and it moved around until after midnight from one room to another. The next day, they overhauled the rooms, but found nothing. Then the noise sounded like a dog scratching. Then all the bedclothes got to slipping off the beds, as if unseen hands were pulling them from the foot of the bed. And occasionally, as the cover was removed from the bed, there was a gulping sound and the smacking of lips, as if someone were choking. This continued every night until about 2 o'clock in the morning. Betsy was disturbed more than the others. She was slapped, her hair was pulled, and once she was spanked by the invisible force. Life for the family was truly unbearable. Finally, a neighbor, James Johnson, was invited to come over to see if he'd hear the noises. And he was the first outsider to become aware of the mysterious goings-on. Now, Mr. Johnson was a very religious man, so he read a chapter from the Bible and he prayed aloud and earnestly for the deliverance of the family from its tormentor. As soon as they retired, the noises began. Mr. Johnson listened closely, and then he asked repeatedly, "In the name of the Lord, who are you?" There was no answer, but the noises ceased for a time. Mr. Johnson concluded the matter was beyond his comprehension. Well, they decided that they would question the unseen agency of mischief until it answered. So the other neighbors came in, and they asked it all sorts of questions, and these were invariably answered by raps and taps, and they were always correct. Soon the ghost began to whisper. Now, a whispering tenor is pretty bad, but a whispering ghost is terrible. Gradually, her voice developed. Once she said, "I am a spirit. I was once very happy, but I have been disturbed." From that moment, the spirit became known as the Bell Witch. She was the embodiment of mischief, but she often essayed the role of prophet. She told the family where to go and where not to go. And she had some favorites. She loved Lucy. She called John's wife Luce. And she would produce grapes out of the air for Luce. And once when Luce was sick in bed, she brought nuts and dropped them down on the bed from the air. Once she had everybody digging for gold. And she stipulated that Mr. Johnson, whose piety amused the witch, and whom she called Old Sugarmouth, she stipulated that he must accompany them, count the money, and turn it over to Betsy, whom she hated. They dug all day without finding a thing, and that night, of course, the witch held high revel and taunted the men because they had been duped. The witch could sing hymns by the hour and repeat scripture by the yard, and she loved to have arguments about religion. Now, as I told you, she loved Lucy, John's wife. Once when Mrs. Bell was ill, she inquired whether their son Jesse had come, and the obliging witch came in and said, "Wait a minute, Luce, and I'll find out." Well, a minute later, the witch reported that he was at home, and Jesse said later that his door opened and closed at the time that his mother spoke. Of course, being a witch, she was a careful purveyor of neighborhood gossip and news. Though she was heard, the witch was never seen. Once, though, she did visit an old bachelor, and she got in bed with him. Well, when he climbed in bed with her, the man just gathered her up in the bedclothes and started to throw her in the fire. Well, this was quite an ungallant action, and it made Kate very angry. So she forthwith turned herself into a bad smell, something between a Chinese stink pot and an overripe polecat. And the hardy citizen had to drop the bundle and run for air. When he got back, she was gone. My, what a pity. The witch became steadily more malicious toward John, the head of the house. He had begun to suffer with a swelling of the tongue and a twitching of the face. And as he lay ill with these attacks, the witch was in the habit of standing at the head of the bed and cursing him fearfully. Once, when he had recovered and started out to the hog pen, his shoes were jerked repeatedly off his feet, and he was struck stunning blows in the face. These antics were accompanied by shrieks from the air. He was persecuted with every conceivable persecution. Finally, John Bell took to his bed and did not recover. When he sank into a stupor one morning, his medicine could not be found. Instead, there was a dark liquid in a bottle there. The doctor was summoned, and he said he did not leave that medicine. The old witch thereupon shouted exultantly, "I've got him this time. He'll never get up from that bed." I put that medicine there last night and gave him a dose of it while he was asleep.
I'm going to try to tell you about some of these old-time characters down here in Florida this morning. Mainly, the one that a lot of these people never heard of, but he was the world's most colorful cowboy, old Bon Mizell. He was riding the range for the King brothers, that big outfit in Charlotte County. And Buck King, later on, was president of the First National Bank in Arcadia. He decided to have a little bit of fun out of Bon. He saw an old gray bag of bones out there with horns about 4 feet wide. And Bon wanted to start him another ranch. He said, "Bon, if you'll catch that cow and marker," said, "I'll give her to you." Bon said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I will." So he threw his rope. He caught the cow all right. But when you started from his horse down to the cow with his knife in his teeth, the cow jumped and run. The rope came loose off the saddle, and Bon turned a somersault and lost his knife. But he hung on to that rope like nobody's business. For a time there, they said there was a regular blue smoke rising above that scrub oak thicket where she dragged Bon. But when he came out, they all started laughing at him. He said, "You needn't to laugh." He said, "I marked that cow." Buck King said, "You couldn't do it." Said, "We saw you lose your knife." Bon said, "Yes, sir," but said, "I marked the cow," and said, "I'll drive her out of there to show you." Bon had chewed his mark in that cow's ear, almost as neatly as with a knife, and marked her in his mark with his teeth. But he was bloody from here to yonder. Goodbye, Cousin Thelma. I'll tell you more next time.
Okay.
Climbing up the mountain, children. Oh, Lord, I didn't come here for to stay. Oh, brother, if I never more see you again, I'm gonna meet you at the judgment day. Oh, yes, I'm climbing up the mountain, children. Oh, Lord, I didn't come here for to stay. Oh, brother, if I never more see you again, I'm gonna meet you at the judgment day. Daniel in the den of the lion, he began to pray. The angels of the Lord like a lion jaw that show us a mighty day. Good Lord, show us a mighty day. Climbing up the mountain, children. Oh, Lord, I didn't come here for to stay. Oh, brother, if I never more see you again, I'm gonna meet you at the judgment day. Oh, yes, I'm climbing climbing up the mountain, children. Oh, Lord, I didn't come here for to stay. Oh, brother, if I never more see you again, I'm going to meet you at the judgment day. Moses went down into Egypt land. He told old Pharaoh, the good Lord sitting on his heavenly throne, he said, let my people go. Good Lord, let my people go. Climbing up the mountain, children. Oh, Lord, I didn't come here for to stay. Oh, brother, if I never more see you again, I'm going to meet you at the judgment day. Oh, yes, I'm climbing up the mountain, children. Oh, Lord, I didn't come here for to stay. Oh, brother, if I never more see you again, gonna meet you at the judgment day.
Mo maishko metapiya kalhe hiskan se mo zake mo maishko metapiya kalhe hiskan se mo zake me kosha palke apiya na hiskan se mozake migusha palke apiyana hiskan se mozake povantake apiyana hiskan se mozake povantake apiyana hiskan se mozake hopoitake apiyana hiskan se mozake hopoitake apiyana hiskan se mozake.
Would you just play us an out-and-out old plain square dancing fiddle tune?
That's right.
Well, just stand up, rail back, and let her go.
Zoodio, 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 here we go, Zoodio all night In the year of 1960, on September 8th it came. 'Twas the warning from Miami of a mighty hurricane. She had plowed through Puerto Rico, leaving ruins in her wake, and they couldn't be quite certain of the course that she might take. On the 9th it started looking like the Keys would get a blow, and the people got to thinking of a place where they could go. Many went up to Dade County, others fled to Lauderdale. Just a few remained in Marathon to face the howling gale. Just before the stroke of midnight, screaming winds began to blow, and the last remaining wind gauge clocked the speed at 160. But that hurricane pushed onward, and by morning's early light, Monroe County was a shambles, little Marco was in sight. She struck hard at Collier County and Fort Myers on her way, and the storm flag started flying even north of Tampa Bay. Punta Gorda was the next place that began to feel her wrath, and then Sarasota County lay directly in her path. Manatee and Orange County were hit hard as she swung east, and she headed for Daytona like a wild and snarling beast. She went back in the Atlantic, headed north for Caroline, and on Sunday the 11th, God's bright sun began to shine. When they counted up the damage, it came to a fearful toll, but Floridians in general have a pioneering soul. We have built this state to greatness, and we've not a mind to roam. We'll be damned if any hurricane can drive us from our home. Thank you.
Oh, listen, good people, a story I'll tell of a great swamp in Florida, a place called Tate's Hell. 140 square watery miles with millions of skeeters and big yellow flies. And where all about the moccasins lie with glittering death in their beady eye, where bull gators beller and panthers squall. Now this is a place to be shunned by all. Old Tate left some matcha long about dark. He had his two big dogs and a puppy named Spark, an old long Tom shotgun, a sharp Barlow knife. That panther was sure have the chase of his life. A little past moon down, the dog struck the scent. Through bramble and tie-tie, a running Tate went. For hours and hours until it was dawn, then Tate knew that he was a long way from home. He blowed through his gun barrel, the dogs did not hear. The panther had killed him, and now Tate felt fear. The sun was not shining, the mist it was thick. Oh Lordy, Tate hollered, I'm lost up the creek. He leaned back to rest, and his eyes did not see. The big rattler struck him above the bent knee. The lick was so hard that a sprawling he fell. This was the beginning of poor old Tate's hell. He opened his Barlow and he grabbed him some moss. A cut he made one way, another across. He wrapped his leg tightly and tied it with string. Then sickness came on him, his body turned green. Tate was discovered, these words he did tell. My name is old Tate, boys, I've just been in hell. These few spoken words were the last that he said. His spirit had left him. Old Tate, he was dead. No man can dispute this legend of yore, how Tate lived a full week and then 5 days more and somehow crawled out near Carabel from the deep ghostly swamp that we know as Tate's Hell. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Gambo Rogers.
I'd like to do a homemade song that pays homage to the animals.
And the rabbit, the squirrel and the kangaroo, playing hopscotch in the jungle with nothing much to do. When along come Noah with a puzzled look and a blueprint in his hand. Gonna build me an oleander ark and go floating on the land. Last night I saw an awful sign while talking to Baloo. Big Dipper turned up sideways, pouring silver on the moon. Oh, the bear was strangled in the flood, so swift it was and strong. And a starry ship was sailing there 300 cubits long. Well, now some beavers cut the timber down and an elephant laid the keel. A sawfish cut the ribs and planks and termites carved the wheel. And a crew of silkworms spun her sails while a hummingbird took stitch. And bumblebees caulked every seam with black bitumen pitch. Then she sailed above the mountain tops all on the frosty tide. And storm and flood and lightning blast were turned at every side. Oh, the rainbow on Mount Ararat will tell us to this day how the animals built an ark for man and know the perfect way. Thank you.
Našich, Kasáren, stojí krátce strach. Nečekej, má milá, nech se nedočkáš. Nečekej, jich už spát.
We heard you wanted to hear a little bluegrass.
One cold winter night, not a star was in sight, and the north wind came howling down the line. With his sweetheart so dear stood a brave engineer, and his orders to pull old number 9. She kissed him goodbye with a tear in her eye, but the joy in his heart he could not hide. For the whole world was bright when she told him that night, tomorrow she'd be his blushing bride. Oh, the wheels hummed a song, the train rolled along, and the black smoke came pouring from the stack. And his headlight agleam seemed to brighten the dream of tomorrow when he'd be coming back. He sped round a hill and his brave heart stood still. A headlight was shining in his face, and he whispered a prayer as he threw on the air, for he knew this would be his final race. In the wreck he was found lying there on the ground, and he asked them to raise his weary head. As his breath slowly went, this message he sent to a maiden who thought she would be wed. There's a little white home that I bought for our own, where I dreamed we'd be happy by and by. But I'll leave it to you, for I know you'll be true till we meet at the Golden Gates. Goodbye.